Phil Hellmuth is angry at the World Series of Poker, at Shaun Deeb, at Daniel Negreanu. The reason is simple. The 2025 World Series of Poker Player of the Year is none other than Michael Mizrachi, winning both the WSOP main event and the $50,000 Poker Player Championship. Wait, hold on. I'm being told Michael Mizrachi did not win Player of the Year. That's too bad. It must be because Benny Glaser won 3 bracelets this year. An incredible achievement to win 3 bracelets in one summer. What a run here from Benny. Wait, no, hold on. Sorry, Benny also did not win Player of the Year. Instead, it was won by Shaun Deeb, who had an impressive number of second place finishes. To be fair to Shaun Deeb, he actually did win an impressive event here, the $100,000 Pot Limit Omaha High Roller for a $3 million score. Nothing to sneeze at whatsoever, but you can see why the drama is building. We have 2 players that won many events not winning Player of the Year, and Shaun Deeb taking it down despite only taking down 1 bracelet. All right, so maybe the player most people would say won Player of the Year didn't win it and instead someone else won it. Why exactly does this make Phil Hellmuth upset? The reason is because this 17-time bracelet winner feels that winning bracelets should be what matters. This would be like Joe Rogan explaining exactly why podcasts are so important. I detect no hint of bias whatsoever. But the stage is set for this public spat, kicking it off with Phil Hellmuth.
First of all, let's give the World Series of Poker credit for running an incredible World Series of Poker. The app was incredible. The way you could just sign up so quickly. They deserve a lot of credit. Kudos to Jack Effel and the staff. Now, my bone to pick.
The World Series of Poker did do a good job overall, although there's a couple situations they could maybe have handled slightly better, like the William Kassouf issue, or perhaps banning certain patches from feature tables, which does feel a little bit wrong to me. But all in all, the World Series of Poker does a great job, and this year they streamlined it with the online buy-ins, so really no argument from me.
First of all, Shaun Deeb won the Player of the Year by the rules listed, and he deserves credit for that. But the rules are messed up. Come on. I don't think any professional poker player believes that the right person won Player of the Year.
Quote, I don't think that any professional poker player believes the right person won Player of the Year. That is an extremely strong statement, and frankly, whenever you use a term like always or never or any, you're just gonna always be wrong.
Now, Daniel maybe thought that he did, I don't know. I talked to Daniel and he's like, yeah, Shaun, he deserves it, he did blah, 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 blah. Bullshit. Benny Glaser won 3 bracelets, okay. And what Michael the Grinder Mizrachi did was incredible. He won the main event. He won the Players' Championship. Mizrachi should have been Player of the Year. I think that 90% of the poker world believes that. Maybe the other 10% thinks Benny Glaser should have won Player of the Year. One of those 2 for sure should have won it. And it just kind of bums me out a little bit. And I'm like, hey, you know, Daniel and Shaun Deeb are helping write Player of the Year. And oh, Shaun's really upset because they cut the number of caches from 8 till 10. Why the fuck does Shaun have any say at all in this? Come on, man, what are we doing? I mean, he's writing the rules and he's winning Player of the Year and no one likes the result. What is happening?
Why the fuck does Shaun Deeb get any say in this? That feels like randomly way too strong for the situation. Obviously, the World Series of Poker is going to listen to player feedback, but it's not like Shaun Deeb gets to carve up the Player of the Year situation, and I think if he did, he probably would change it a little bit. For example, Deeb usually plays pretty much every event over the summer, and they've capped the Player of the Year race to be at 10 events, so it's not exactly like this format or this system is set up exactly for Deeb to win, and I don't really see why Phil Hellmuth seems so angry specifically at Deeb. I feel like we got a little taste of behind the scenes Hellmuth there. John Sofin over at Poker News actually weighed in here with a quote from Deeb saying that Deeb actually argued the other way to not have it be like it is today and lost that argument, kind of proving a counterpoint here to Hellmuth's example.
This has to change. What are we, champions? Or are we into second place finishes and third place finishes? This is about being a champion. This is about gold bracelets, Player of the Year. Someone won 3 bracelets. Someone won the 2 biggest tournaments of the year. What are we doing? Second place, third place? That's bullshit. We're champions. Player of the Year should be about champions.
That's right, guys. This isn't about opinion. This is about cold, hard facts. Going out there, collecting every chip, and winning a bracelet. Unless we decide to not give you the bracelet.
Now, I don't know what they do, but the second bracelet maybe give them double points, the third bracelet triple points. I don't know. Or maybe what they can do is have it so that there's a panel of 5 people that can overrule in extraordinary circumstances, like exactly someone winning 3 or 4 bracelets, like exactly someone winning the players in the main event, which will probably never happen again.
Here we go with another player panel. This is not the first time that Phil Hellmuth has talked about a players panel or players council. He also made this suggestion when we were talking about potentially what bracelet should quote unquote count beforehand. Look, I've seen so many players council type ideas and it just doesn't work because everyone has their own incentives. Good players probably don't want other good players to surpass them, or maybe there are some people that have public beefs. Certainly I would never be involved in something like that.
What the fuck's going on?
Like, he's fake news. I'm not calling him a liar, but he stretches the truth.
All right, we get it.
Doug Polk, that's an idiot, man.
Dude, no one fucking likes you, man. No one wants you.
We get it. Stop showing beefs.
At the high stakes poker table.
It's been a long career. But yeah, so we're just going to have a small group of people that decide what counts. Pretty sure I know what Phil Hellmuth's poker player council would look like.
But something needs to change in the player of the year race. Let's get that fixed.
Strong words from Phil Hellmuth, and with that in mind, Shaun Deeb crafted the perfect response, the only way he possibly could, using ChatGPT to write it for him. First off, I had zero involvement in the WSOP changing the POY formula. I'll say, while that might be true, I do think it's worth noting that you did lobby and got overruled, so I think we kind of have to pick a bit of a lane here, but I digress. The shift from counting unlimited caches to capping at 10 wasn't my call, and it hurt me more than it helped. Phil himself admitted that. Certainly true words here from Shaun Deeb. I play more events at the WSOP than almost anyone year after year. The old system favored players like me who put in massive volume. The new cap flattened the field, and I still came out on top. It does make you look particularly good when you argue for something, lose, get overruled, and still win. I guess in this exact situation, you could say Shaun Deeb got to have his cake and eat it too. Might be worth having a little less cake. Maybe this is just the cherry on top of the hot pudge sundae. Still managing to win is no small feat. It's not like these fields are full of cupcakes. All right, enough's enough. I'm going to move on because I can't think of any more fat jokes. It does seem Phil Hellmuth might have bit off more than he can chew with the quote, "No pros believe the right player won player of the year." Deeb went on to say, "That's just false. I've had overwhelming support from players who understand the structure and saw the grind firsthand. Player of the year isn't about highlight reels. It's a point-based system. It rewards steady results across the entire series, not popularity, not narrative. And by that measure, I earned it. Is the system perfect? No, it still needs work. I'd gladly help improve it, even if it means lowering my future chances. But make no mistake, I didn't create the formula, and I didn't benefit unfairly from it. POY shouldn't hinge on who generated the biggest moment. It's about the full body of work. And by this year, that work spoke for itself. Never thought I'd be backed up by Real Kid Poker while getting blindsided by Phil Hellmuth, but here we are. Some people evolve. Others just keep rewriting history to stay the hero of their own story. Props to Mizrachi, props to Benny, and to Phil, congrats on spreading false info, trying to hijack Mizrachi's Hall of Fame spotlight. Shout out to Jared Blesnick. It was his suggestion first. And once again proving that volume doesn't equal accuracy. Don't do it. Don't do it. If anyone's an expert in volume, it is Shaun Deeb. Okay, that's enough fat jokes. I don't know what the right number was supposed to be, but I think that was a healthy amount. Not one to hold his tongue, Daniel Negreanu jumped into the fray with his own take on the player of the year situation. This is another fairly long tweet, so just to jump into some highlights, Negreanu said, "The system was set up prior to day one. No one spent more time to understand the intricacies more deeply than you, and you set out on a 7-week journey prioritizing that one goal. The system is far from perfect, and it's very difficult to weigh each tournament, especially with Deeb in there." Whatever happened to this show? Oh, I just can't help myself. Negreanu went on to talk about the different things he would change. I don't want to get into the specifics all too much because I feel like it's very nerdy and point system based. But basically, the point is, at the end of this, he concluded it out with, Hellmuth says winners win. They should be rewarded. They already are. And Negreanu is right here. You do basically have to win tournaments to win Player of the Year. Deeb won a major bracelet for $3 million, and while he did lose heads up quite often, the point is he had a very impressive summer and won a major tournament. And while maybe that win in isolation isn't as impressive as Benny's or Grinder's, the point still is he did have an incredible summer, winning a lot of money and having so many final tables, top 2 finishes, and winning a bracelet. Negreanu goes on to say that he thinks Deeb is better off just skipping the main under this current system, although I have 10 million reasons why I think that's wrong. Other players weighed in supporting Shaun Deeb, players like Scott Seaver with a very long tweet, players like Alan Kessler with a long tweet, and even Sam Greenwood piped in saying this, quote, World Series of Poker should add the Phil Hellmuth Winner Award. Phil determines who is the most deserving player, and the following year they will get a small banner in the corner of the horseshoe. I love this idea because I already know who's going to win. With drama swirling, Phil Hellmuth once again took to Twitter to post a response video. He said this.
First of all, folks, Shaun Deeb is one of the best poker tournament players in the world. We all know this. And when it comes to Player of the Year, he earned it. He won it.
Why does this video start off with hostage vibes? This is just so Phil Hellmuth. I mean, he can't even... I wanted to start off with saying that Phil Hellmuth is the greatest tournament player of all time. Please don't. I have a family.
I think that if someone wins 3 bracelets and someone has 8 second place finishes, the guy with the 3 bracelets should win. Shaun vehemently disagrees, saying it's just a lot harder to get 8 second place finishes. I'm a bracelet guy.
Hey kids, a little something about me. I'm a winner, a champion, some would say. So, I'm not really into that whole losing. So for the haters and the losers who don't win bracelets, like, that's cool. You keep doing your thing, but I'm kind of about the winning.
That's part of our disagreement when it comes to Player of the Year, but I do owe Shaun an apology. He told me he has 0 influence in the Player of the Year format, and for that, I owe Shaun an apology. But I still stand by what I said as far as Player of the Year goes. We need to make some changes. If someone wins 3 bracelets, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinions, that player should be Player of the Year over a guy that finishes 8 second place finishes. That's just the way I think. Shaun disagrees. Daniel disagrees. A lot of people disagree with me, but that's the way I feel. I play poker for bracelets, for championships, to win.
Have I mentioned championships yet? To give Hellmuth credit here, he does apologize to Deeb for an incorrect statement, which is a big step, and you know what? I do like to see that. Good on you, Phil, for acknowledging a wrongdoing and apologizing. This really is a battle of narratives. We have Phil Hellmuth with the most bracelets saying that bracelets should be what mattered. We have Shaun Deeb, who won Player of the Year this year, saying that Player of the Year this year is what matters. We have Daniel Negreanu, who's saying that playing all of the Player of the Year stuff is what matters. Respectfully yours, 2X Player of the Year. So taking in all of this as the viewer, as the audience, there's only one question in our mind. Who fucking cares? I've talked to so many people in poker, in person, online, comment sections, you name it. And the number of people that have talked to me about WSOP Player of the Year, I think it's basically none. It almost never even comes up. So much so that I took to Twitter with my own take. Do you care about the WSOP Player of the Year? And I think these results speak for themselves. The WSOP Player of the Year is an insider circle jerk that people do not care about. One might say, when you're talking about the Player of the Year, you're in the inner circle.
You're on the outs. You're not a part of the in-group. No one fucking likes you, man.
You want to know why I think people don't care about this? It's too goddamn complicated. Poker is already complicated enough. We have so many events and so much going on that really what it boils down to is someone winning a big event for a lot of money, not cashing in for points in some fantasy system that no one understands. The number of paragraphs from the number of people that weighed in on this in poker just shows how delusional the entire poker community is to think that this matters whatsoever. All right, maybe you get a banner in Paris or Horseshoe or goddamn the Rio. Put it back in the Rio.
I will remember you.
The reason we're getting such long posts from such big names is because it really does matter to these people trying to leave a legacy, and they think that somehow this impacts that in the future. But frankly, I ain't reading all that. I'm happy for you though. Or sorry that happened. You know what really leaves a legacy in poker? Streaming. which is why on August 6th, I'm going to be streaming starting early in the morning, where I have to win with all 169 starting hands in Hold'em, and I can't stop streaming until I get there playing the highest stakes possible. So tune in on the 6th. I'll see you there. Shameless self-promotion, much like the rest of this video.